Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Bob Pace, and we're here to fight CPS with me, Bob Pace, and hang on to your children. This is a live podcast broadcast around the world. You found me on Facebook, and I'm glad you did. I'm a loving father, a husband, and have helped raise 6 beautiful children. I also have 41 years of marriage. All the life skills that I can have and so forth. Unfortunately, I encountered a bad entity. In my case, it was really bad. It was the child protection system, what I call. In California, in Orange County, it was called the Child Protection Services. They interfered with my life based on false allegations from lay people. And they did so for 5 years. And then they hired the police, or they talked to the police to send a detective to find me, and then they followed me. Then they ordered me to my home and ordered me to open it up. Now, I did not know about the 5 rules that I've made in this podcast, and you've all heard them before. Many of you are regulars, and I warmly welcome all of you that are listening. But unfortunately, they took my children that day. They weren't in danger. They all were in school, except my young son was with me, and he wasn't in danger. And they took the children. The children were completely mystified. They don't explain anything when they take children. Their first priority is to traffic your children to foster care and then alienate your children. That's how the CPS system, the Child Protection Service in Orange County works. Now, I call all the entities out there CPS system because every county, every state, they'll be all different. Like in Prescott, it's called the Department of Children's Services. Even the county next to mine, the Orange County now next to me is LA County, Los Angeles County. This is called the Department of Children and Family Services. In Kentucky, Richmond, Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. So instead of sitting here trying to tell you all the different ones, I'm just going to say CPS, which stands for the Child Protection Systems. And as I say, there's hundreds of systems. It's worldwide too, because people in other countries have called in and asked for help. I've had over 20 countries contact me here on the podcast. I've had several countries where they've called in, like recently was Leica from South Africa at the Cape province, on one of the provinces there, the Cape, the west coast of South Africa. And she talked for a long time. She's actually called in twice. Her country code's 27. I can't forget it. But she talked on here about her CPS case. My computer is still acting up. It just arbitrarily decided to do that. I apologize. Well, Pixel Pixie looks like she's from New Jersey. And she is trying to save her child with the help of a lawyer. Well, that's really good. That is my number one rule: is to get a help with a lawyer. So that's really important. And Tessa says, "Hi, Bob," and "Hi there, Tessa," and "How to the other half." And Pixie says, "New Jersey does not hide its agenda. They call it child protection and permanency. It is on adoption agenda." That's hard to believe. Permanency is New Jersey? Wow, that's the first I've heard. Permanency is not what it should be. See, the child protection system was mandated by Congress that a branch of social services that would protect our children from neglect and abuse. That would form the child protection system. It's different names in different counties and different states. Furthermore, if your family's in need of shelter, clothing, food, transportation, even medical and education, they're supposed to help. They even help you get a job. That's what the responsibility of them is. And if it's necessary because a child's in danger, they'll take the child and break up the family. But proposed to do, it's mandated by law to do family reunification. It got really confusing in 1994 when Bill Clinton signed into law the Assentive Act, which is basically telling that if you get them adopted into foster care, you get an extra bonus. You know, what's this thing about money? I'm talking about trillions of dollars. That's sad. It's a government agency that has greed before helping people, that puts greed before helping people. It's all about money. They get additional compensations for child's special needs. And the money they get, the compensation isn't small chump change. My kids, the agency was getting $20,000 per child. That was $60,000 because 3 of my children were taken from me, stolen, trafficking. And it's the only thing. I was speaking with a gentleman last night from Montana that talked about trafficking and how bad it is and how legal. Well, child protection system gets away with it. We should accuse them of trafficking. It's against the law. It's against the law to traffic another individual longer than 24 hours. It's against the law. So is alienation is against the law. And those are two things that the child protection system does all the time. Now, Pixel from New Jersey says, "Where did Bob go?" Okay, Pixel, you're new. I've been having trouble for the past month and a half, 2 months with my computer. I've taken it to the computer store. They say it's not a virus, but I think it is. But something is controlling my cursor. And after the computer warms up, the cursor will move and it'll scroll down to the bottom of the page. And I can't text, I can't type, I can't text. So it's really nerve-wracking. But I apologize. I'm still here. Tessa says, "Bob, where did you go?" I'm here. I didn't know I disappeared. It doesn't. I don't do it. The computer does it. Now we have. Good morning, Hammer. Oh, that's Dave. Dave is the guy from Montana last night. Glad to see you, Dave. That is Hammer from Montana. Dave is his name. And I'm glad to see you this morning. Now, he says, "You're correct. CPS is the largest human trafficking organization in America. You're right. Did you know there are over 500,000 children being investigated by CPS? 500,000 children. You know how much 500,000 children is? That's 5 football stadiums. If each stadium holds 100,000 people, which a lot of them do, think of that. 5 football stadiums of children. Full children in those stadiums that are sitting there being investigated. And their families are being tortured and manipulated and given false hopes. It's sad. Yes, there are bad parents. Yes, there are children that are in need of help. There's over 1,000 cases every day that go unreported of children that need to be helped. But of the 600 people I've talked to, close to maybe 700 people, I have to do some math there, they all say something in common. Someone called in, made the allegation, the child protection system believes it's true, and right away, I'm guilty before I can even prove I'm innocent. I have to prove my innocency. And they come out to my home, and the typical MO is you open the door, which you're not supposed to, and you let them in and you talk to them. You let them explore your home, which again, you're not supposed to. And they say, we need to take your child because of this or this or that. And you don't give them your child, but you don't know better. You don't know. You think that the policeman that comes with them or the sheriff that comes with them is very intimidating. He's there in his battle fatigue and battle weapons, and he looks very intriguing. He's there as a protective social worker. He's also used secondary for intimidation factor. So you do give up the child. You do not give up your children. You do not open the door. You do not let them in. You do not talk to them. At the first instance that you are being accused of anything or getting involved with anything is you need to find an attorney. And I don't mean a court appointed or a public defender because they'll just be useless. Those public defenders are court appointed attorneys that the CPS offers you and your children are case loaded, meaning that they have 30 or more cases. They don't have time to fight or to meet with you or talk to you or stuff like that. Their agenda is they work for CPS. They're paid by CPS. The judge is paid by CPS. Everybody in that courtroom is paid by CPS. You're not going to get a fair trial. You're not going to get a fair. They don't have a jury trial, and they should. CPS should have a jury trial if it goes to that. But I tell everybody, before the first trial, the first hearing, ask for a settlement conference. In Michigan, they do that. Now, I don't know if all states are, but I've been really preaching that at least attempt to have a settlement conference. If you can settle the problem before it gets too big or too late, maybe work out something. But you also need to establish that you have an attorney. If they hear you don't have an attorney, they're going to hook in with you, especially if you're low income and you don't understand the system. So if you take the court-appointed attorney, your case is doomed because you know, unless you keep prodding them and pushing them, you're not going to get your children back. I'm really sorry to say that to you, but that's the truth. And I think a lot of people in this room will tell me so. Now I need to address Hammer's second comment here. Dave. Oh, this is Carlos. I'm sorry. Carlos. Yay. Carlos. Now, Carlos is from Tennessee. Carlos is from, from Ohio. I think Carlos is from Ohio. And good. You're listening, Carlos. Thanks for checking in. Carlos met me a couple nights ago, and he was a guest on my show and talked. I'm so glad to see you, Carlos. It really is nice to see you. Now, if any of you are starting to want to text in, which I'm glad that you are doing so. Now, you found this room. You found me on Facebook, Fight CPS Bob Pace. There are 7 other rooms. One of them is in a YouTube room. And if you go to those rooms, you all channel in here. All your comments will be in here. So it makes no difference what room you found, but you're here. Now, I broadcast on YouTube, and I use the StreamYard application. I use the SteamYard application. And I put a message on the screen about texting, messages. Now, whether it's a comment or question, make sure it pertains to CPS. Also, I really need to know your first name and the city or county your case was in, and the state. And if you're from another country, your country, as well as maybe the province. And some countries have states too. So I need that information so that they're. When I say worldwide, I've had from Bangladesh to India, 2 countries in the Middle East, 6 countries in Africa, 8 countries in Europe, 3 countries in North America. That's Canada, the U.S., all 50 states, and of course Washington D.C. is called in. Mexico, and up in Canada, of course, I've had 3 or 4 provinces up there. Then South America, I've had 1 country, Grenada. And then across the Pacific, I've had Australia, which has had 2 states, the Gold Coast, and of course the Melbourne area, Victoria is the state there. And then I've had New Zealand and spoke to one of the indigenous tribes, the All Blacks. They're called the All Blacks. It's a rugby. They're really good at rugby, playing rugby. But anyway, the group there, the indigenous people there, are very suppressed. They have a horrible time with families and children stuff, just like the Native American Indians in the United States and in Canada. In Canada, they're called the First Nation people. In the United States, they're called the Native Americans. Those Indians and the Polynesians were the first immigrants before all the European settlers, other parts of the world settled. They're the first immigrants, and we should show respect to that. Now, furthermore, try to be explicit about your case when you text a message in there. Now, another way to interact with the podcast is to be a guest on my podcast. And you can do so by just writing an email to my show producer. Her name is Grace. She works hard behind the scenes, and I appreciate her hard work. And she makes this podcast run really smooth. Anyway, you just find one of my 14 shows. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning and again at 7 o'clock at night. They're both West Coast, California time, Pacific Standard Time. And I'm on every day of the week. That's 14 shows, 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. So all you do is you just write her, I want to be on Bob's Wednesday evening show or Bob's Thursday morning show or Bob's Saturday evening show. It's evening or morning. It's simple. Now, I am on Saturday and Sunday at 8 o'clock. That's the only difference. That's the only difference on at 8 o'clock. So to be a guest, I that is really great. I really like to see you be a guest. Now, I'm going to put my phone number. That means I'm live. You can talk to me. My phone number is working now. Vonage's back has been repaired. And it's 626-698-0990. And I want to help you. And you've called in. Dave, who is Hammer, he's called in. Tessa's called in. Pixie, you can call in from Jersey. So far, we have Montana, and we have Ohio, and we have Northern California in on the room in New Jersey. So I'm glad to have representatives from different parts of the country because CPS is worldwide. It's a problem. They're not transparent. They make you sign things you shouldn't sign. They try to trap you. Anything you do say will be used against you. And they do a lot of illegal things. They violate your constitutional and your civil rights all the time. They do so. Now, I'm going to leave my phone number up in case somebody that want to call there. Now, Carlos is at work, but he's listening. He's really concerned about his case. And it's so sad how the CPS manipulates things and makes it rough or bad on you. So I'm open right now for anybody to call in. I'm also open for anybody that wants to text anything. And by the way, there's several ways you can actually talk to Mr. Davis for free. If you call in on my phone and talk, or you're a guest on the show and talk, then you're entitled to a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis through a private Zoom call. That's right. You get 15 minutes free time with Mr. Davis. And believe me, Tessa would tell you how much she learned from Mr. Davis. Those 15 minutes can be a lifetime. Plus, he's not a clock watcher. He'll listen to your case and he'll want to help you. He does so much of his free time. He gives so much of himself. He's probably the best attorney in the country that fights CPS. And if you want him, you can call that number 888-888-6582. That's the law office of Mr. Vincent Davis. So when you call in, make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. And then when you speak to Mr. Davis, tell him that Bob Pace sent you. It's really important. But you can call into that number and retain him. And then your life will be at ease. Your life will be at ease. Because nothing is more troublesome than trying to do open heart surgery without a real doctor. That's what CPS is. It's like open heart surgery. Can you imagine a plumber working on your heart? Or maybe a candlestick maker? Or an auto mechanic? That's a nightmare in itself. Well, that's what CPS. They are so corrupt and so bad. You need that attorney. And I strongly recommend that you think about Mr. Davis. As he was telling you earlier, he has 39 years of experience. I mean, he has actually fought CPS and gotten children back. He is a juvenile family dependency lawyer. That's his background. Juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. They all go hand in hand. Because CPS works on dependency law. I lost my mouse cursor here. Here we go. Mouse cursor, I should say. All right, it sort of stopped right now. We had the last speaker was Carlos. We got Carlos from Ohio. We got Hammer, who's Dave from Montana. We got Tessa from Northern California. And we got Pixel Pixie from New Jersey. If any of you like to call in, feel free to do so. Or keep asking questions because I'll keep talking. And I don't want to bore you because I have a lot of information that can help you win your case. As I told you, my 3 young children were taken. And they're taken wrongly. They didn't have rights. A stupid fool of me gave permission. I did not know about a court warrant. I did not know that it's okay not to talk to them or signing paperwork or not to turn your kids into them. The problem is trust. And when you develop trust, then you let your guard down. You let your guard down. Now, I know a lot of you in this room that have heard me before, and I don't mean to repeat over and over. But another way, if 15 minutes is not enough time, you like 30 minutes, I've arranged a special way that you could talk to Mr. Davis for 30 minutes all you do is pay a lump sum fee of $60. He'll talk to you for 30 minutes for $60. That's all you have to do. And there's a website to scroll along in the ticket that tells you how to go to that website. You go to the website, you enter your credit card information, and you're charged the money, and then you make the comment to him and so forth. It's dead silence in the room. I know it's early in the morning. For some of you, it's in the afternoon. I still don't see Henry from Tennessee or Margaret from St. Louis, Missouri, or Amanda from St. Louis, Missouri, or even Betty from Montana. Another person there. Oh, we got someone here. Dave says, I thank you very much for appreciating me, Dave. I appreciate you all. I love you guys like a family. You guys are in my room. You're my family. I want to help you. I don't want to see you go through the same miserable time that I went through for 5 years of constant harassment. And 3 years my children were stolen, and then I got them back. And now I've been fighting CPS for 15 years. I've been trying to share you my story, my woes, my 5 rules that developed. Rule number 1, get an attorney. And I mean to get the right kind of attorney. Rule 2, get yourself a notebook, organize your documents, have subject tabs, and create a very important page called the incident time log. Rule 3, don't answer the door. Don't talk to social workers. Don't talk to the police. Do not give them your children. If you encounter them outside, tell them that you need to have your attorney present, and you arrange a meeting with your attorney present, but don't have it meet at the office or at your home. It's best to meet at Starbucks or McDonald's. Now, if you live in remote areas, which I know that Dave does, he lives out in the open country, it may not be close there, but you want to have a place where it's public, where, it's quiet, but you don't want to have their office because they have bad things that happen at their office. If you bring your children along, they'll take your children. They have no qualms because as soon as they take their children, they get that $20,000 per child per month. It kicks in. They contact the state, they get a number, and you're now registered in that state. And it's wrong because you should be able to fight your incidents. And you should be able to fight. You should be not guilty until you're proven innocent. It should be a jury trial that tries you. And it should be a better attorney. A better judge. My judge knew all about automobile claims and accidents, but he knew nothing about family reunification or children or families. He was worthless. He was worthless. Okay, now I stopped at rule 3, and I said that, don't let them in there because you have to give them permission, or there's got to be danger happening before they come into your home, or they have a warrant. Now, warrant is a very important document. You got to make sure it's not a used one. Social workers are notorious using old warrants and substituting dates and so forth. If you want to know if a warrant is legit, it's first you want to see the signature on it by a judge, a wet signature. And it should have a stamp that impresses the stamp into the paper and raises it above along with the signature. then that keeps from forgery and so forth. So you got to see that. And if you meet them outside, just be courteous. Say hi there. I can't really talk. I need my attorney present. This is a criminal matter, and my constitutional right says I can have an attorney represent me through all this matter. So you need to get your attorney. You need to tell them that, okay, we'll meet such and such a time at such and such a place, but make sure it's not the CPS's place. It's got to be some place where you feel safe. You can take pictures and make sure you document everything. Documentation is so important. Now, I know a lot of you are documenting, recording it, and so forth. Try to make sure you organize it every so often. The rule number 3, when you tell them that you need your attorney present, they'll just be courteous. They'll leave you alone. Also, be careful of medical trafficking. That's when the social workers now working at the emergency rooms or hospitals, and they'll try to take away your child. They will try to take away your child. Don't let them. Don't let them. Same thing going when you have a baby. They want to take away your child. Maybe they tested something positive or misunderstood something. Don't let them. And when you're having that baby, it's your bonding time, you and the mother. And you should address the hospital and say, these are only people allowed in the room. If a sheriff or a social worker comes in, they don't have the power to remove that baby. They're going to try to intimidate you to give up that power, but don't. They have to have a warrant to remove your children or to talk to you or whatever the case may be and search your home. And of course, rule number 4 is use the internet wisely. You got to phrase your question in such a way that you find the information. I suggest you use the city first, comma, followed by the state and the letters CPS. Then after that, you put whatever topic you're looking for, the 388 motion, the 160 hearing. You look all those up there and it will tell you. It will tell you. And also after the CPS, you can put down what you're searching for, the handbook of what social workers do with your children. Or it may be the ICWA Act of 1978, the Indian Child Welfare Act. Or it may be how to do a 388 motion. Or, as I say, the 160 here and so forth. That should be a useful tool. And lastly, my rule 5 is to gather all your documents, make copies, put in an envelope, keep them with your notebook. Those are documents like the children's birth certificates, their social security cards, their shock records, their report records, the school grade report records, and the other reports should be included in there. And that's how, you gather your documents. Your marriage certificate, don't forget that one. And again, I say make copies because copies are good enough that will take care of that. Um, that envelope or that folder should be with your notebook. Those are 5 simple rules that if I know those rules, I would never lost my children. You have to know your civil and constitutional rights. And why you need an attorney, that's the only one that can help you. You can be all you can, knowledgeable on the internet and learn everything, but you need that attorney who's trained and knows how to navigate CPS. There are 2 important questions you need to ask for any attorney. 1, are you a current licensed juvenile family dependency lawyer who has gotten children's back from CPS? Now, I said license because there's so many attorneys that sometimes let their license expire. Now, with those rules, you'll be able to stay out of court and get your children back. But you got to be careful. There's a group in Prescott, Arizona, of social workers that in the year 2022 decided to buy pink T-shirts, not for breast cancer awareness, but so they can stencil on the front of the shirt that they're professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they could put, "Parents, do you know where your children are?" With those 2 words, it struck a lot of difference in the case. It was really sad. Okay, we got another. Anybody new that wants to say anything? It's kind of slow this morning. For some of you that are Native American Indians or the First Nation Indians in Canada, there's a law that was passed. In Canada, it was several years after the one in the United States, but it's called the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978. I think in Canada it was 1984. I may be mistaken. But this act basically helped save American Indian children so they'd be family reunified. For 100 years, from 1875 to 1975, the Indian children were automatically adopted. They weren't any input about family reunification. It was sad. It wasn't until the act was passed. It basically says that there is Indian children, and most Indian tribes say you have to be 25% or more of their blood. But if you're registered in one of the 548 federal recognized tribes, then you will be sent to a Indian family to be reunified with your own family. It's a real plus thing. It's Indians taking care of their own children, their own people. It's sad how the American Indians have been treated. It really is. It's really sad. Anyway, we got about let me see the time. We got 15 minutes left. Plenty of time for a phone question or two, or some text messages that maybe there's something that can help you out. Now, Dave is saying Missouri has a castle doctrine. Learn how you can legally defend with physical force to protect your family without losing your life. Wow, that's with physical force? We don't want to be physical because physical ends up making the case worse. You really need to be respectful and don't talk. Use your attorney wisely. Use your attorney wisely. I don't know what you mean by that, Dave. You can call in and talk further about that. Um, let's see here. Dave says RSM 3.031. Okay, I guess that's the Missouri code. And I have no way of looking up on the internet because my computer doesn't let me search because the cursor will go wacko, and I can't look it up there, Dave. But the best plan is the number one time that you finally get involved is call attorney. Now, at first, you may only call attorney, maybe you don't want to hire them because you have to search around. As I told you, there's two questions. First question is, are you a licensed juvenile family dependency lawyer who has gotten children, who's fought CPS and got children back? If the answer is yes, the second question you go to is that have you ever, when the case is closed, sued CPS and won money back from the lawsuit? Again, if the answer is yes, you got yourself a great attorney. You need to find two more of those people. You have one, then find two more. And then you got to see if your chemistry is right. But I'm trying to tell you, it's so important to do whatever you can to have your family together. I'm glad you shared that code there, Dave. That was nice. Now, going back to the ICWA thing, once they determine you can be registered or are registered, then they immediately have to turn over the children to an Indian home, to a reservation. They in turn will put them with the Indian home for reunification. It's so sad how the Native American people have been treated, and the First Nation people and the Polynesians been treated. You know, it's really funny how, you know, they're the first immigrant, but there's no respect for them. So many promises were made in North America with the Native American people. Organizations like AIM have come, and activists like Russell Means. There's been several, you know, activists in the Indian movement. And it's sad. It's a part of the culture of us. You know, in the 1870s, they were, you know, the last big major uprising was when Crazy Horse won the Battle of Little Bighorn. That was the only battle that the Indians really won and fought and won. And Red Cloud, part of the tribe there, moved up to Canada and tried to work out staying up there with the Canadian Mounted Police, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. But these Indians have been so badly, like when they're put on reservations, the children were taken to these Indian homes where their hair was cut off, where they weren't allowed to wear their native costumes or speak their native language or, you know, enjoy their native culture. Instead, they're beaten up severely. There's some outrageous physical abuse by people that call themselves religious nuns. I don't know. That's wrong. That's wrong. Now, this Indian tribe on the reservations will make sure that the children get back with their family. It's all reunification. The Indian people do know how to take care of their families. They're poor. The Rosebud Reservation is one of the poorest reservations in our country. So bad. It's the lowest. It really is bad there. And children, you know, are taken all the time and adopted so easily. That's why the 1978 that passed the Indian Child Welfare Act. But you got to know it. Social workers will not talk about it because they know that they'll lose money. You see, anytime a child's not in their hands or their jurisdiction, they're not getting any more money. Now, the silence you hear is me thinking and processing of something new or something I can share with you that happened along the road there. All I know is that when I got an attorney, I got my children back. But the worst thing I can think about is how bad the social workers are. I told you about the pink ladies that paraded around. They were caught, they were fired, including the director. Now, my daughter, my social worker retaliated on our family. When she was testifying in court and Vincent asked her a question, how good are the parents? See, my wife's sister and husband were trying to adopt her. And they say, how good are the parents? And has there been any domestic violence? Well, the social worker said, no, there's been no violence and no domestic. I mean, they're great parents. Well, then Mr. Davis says, in his way of doing things, he pulls out his folder and he says, ma'am, I'm troubled. I read these reports. Let me read you the first one. And then he talks about them having domestic violence. Not only was it domestic, it was physical domestic violence. They were hitting each other, hurting each other. That's not the environment you put a child in there. So he read one by one, and she was just, her face was the worst look you could see. You can see. Now, the 388 motion, I haven't talked about it in a while, but it's a motion where you can petition to the judge, and it may not be called a 388 in your state. In California it is, in Pennsylvania it is, in Maine it is, in Texas it is. But anyway, it's where if you have some new evidence, you completed your classes, and you want to go before the judge, he has to, within 30 days, have a court date for you. It's called the 388 motion, and it will help you. It will help you. It will help you there. Does anyone have any questions or concerns or anything I can help them out with? I react better off questions and concerns. Now I have about 6 more minutes left. I've tried to touch base. You know, our daughter, by the way, I was talking about that story. The social worker left the courtroom horrified. And she told his parents she's never going to see her daughter again. And you know what she did? She retaliated and told our daughter, who's 12 at the time, you're going to emancipate from your parents. That means you're going to divorce your mother, your father, your 3 brothers, and your 2 sisters, your grandparents, both sets, and your aunts and uncles and cousins. Furthermore, you're going to change your name completely. She took away her most beautiful name, Honolulu. It was named after the beautiful place in the world in Honolulu, Kauai. It's like the Garden of Eden, where I think Honolulu is. And that was her name, and it was gone. It's gone. And on top of that, she sealed her birth certificate and put her grandparents as the mother and father. That's stupid. There was only one biological parent there's two of them that conceived that child. That was mom and dad. That's us. And it hurt us. It hurt us when the social worker did that. When they sealed the birth certificate, they get a new birth certificate. Not only that, she got a second social security card so she can double dip services. She used her first social security getting money, and then she used her second one. That's unheard of. If social services heard that CPS was doing that, they'd be all over that case. That'd be all over. But anyway, she's 22 now, and she still does not talk to mom and dad. She has talked to her brothers, so that way they're keeping in touch. But, like holidays and stuff, I wish her things, but she never answers back. And she was her precious daughter, and she's gone. And I think about her every day. What's she doing? How was her high school? How was her college? If she went to college. I've heard rumors she went and dropped out or went to different places. I've heard she's had a lot of trouble with her adopted parents. I don't know. It's just all hearsay, all rumors. Anyway, I'm glad to have Dave listening here from Montana. I'm also glad to have Carlos here from Ohio. And let me see if I can scroll up. The score may work. I don't know. Well, if I hit escape, it gets better. Several escapes I'll hit. I can scroll up. Nope, I can't scroll up. It's sad. But I know that Tess is one of those people. Carlos, Dave, Hammer, and so forth. There's also Pixel Pixie from New Jersey. And it's good to hear from here. Now, Dave said something here. He says the use of someone's son without their permission is fraud. Now, what do you mean to use someone's son? Oh, social security number. Yes. I know it's fraud. But they did. You see what it was? Because of my age, I was getting money from Social Security for my 3 young children. They're all under the age of 25 or 18, and they're all in high school or elementary school or middle school. So I got compensated. Anytime you're over the age of, I think it's 60 or 65, that Social will give you more of your Social Security money back. And so she was getting that. Even when she was taken, Social Services was taking that money. It was like $1,000. Well, she gets a new birth certificate, a new Social Security card. She gets another $1,000. That's $2,000. That's ridiculous. Both parents were making together combined incomes of over $250,000. I mean, I don't know. It's so corrupt our system is. It's terrible. Yeah, it's fraud, but you tell the CPS that. I mean, the Social Security. I don't think they'd listen. Yeah, I understand. It's too late anyway, because why? She's 22 now. What is Social Security going to do? It was my money to begin with anyway. It's money that I earned. See, I've been working for over 60 years. So I have pretty close to $4 million that I've earned in 60 years. And they dribble it back to me in small portions. So anyway, I guess the foster care parents needed it or something. I don't know. It is sad. It's sad with the corruptors because you can't make ways to make your life like hell. You were telling me, Dave, how hard it was out there in Montana, and how, or was it Wyoming? I'm getting confused. It was Wyoming, I think it was, Dave. Yeah, so many people remember, but the police are corrupt. And it seems like no matter what state you're at or anything else, there's too much corruption going on. I mean, you look at right now, we on January 20th, we'll have a new president. And what have they done since this election? They've been bad mouthing still. The other day, January 6th, they say, oh, he's at fault. There's so much fake news, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the news, and they're concentrating on the wrong thing. They're concentrating on the wrong thing. The news should be putting pressure to lower food prices down, lower gasoline. Gasoline, just by the way, went up 6 cents. It was dropping slowly. It was at 4.25 in the spring. And it dropped down to $3.69. Now it's up to $4.75. And why? Why is the gas going up? Why is there food still? It's gone up 50 cents. A carton of eggs is $10. Milk is $5 a gallon. Carton of eggs is $10. A loaf of bread is $2. A head of cabbage is over $1. Bananas are 75 cents a pound. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous because, they may give you a raise every year in your Social Security. You may get $100. But, geez, the $100 is taken against you because they say you make too much money. We're not going to give you food stamps, or we're not going to give you your welfare for medical or anything like that. They're not going to help you out there. Why? Because you make too much money. And you pay $200 in medical insurance to have insurance for you, not for your family, for you. So it's really, 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 really tough out there. I know you're frustrated too, Dave. I appreciate the call in. I'm going to try the GoFundMe help to see if I get myself a new computer. But I need, my car is in bad shape. My rear brakes, I drive around the car. I have front brakes, but no rear brakes. I can't get my smog passed because they say there's something electronically wrong with my transmission. There's 2 components they talk about. And I know a new transmission, a rebuilt transmission, is anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000. So it's a lot of money, And I have a job working at Bangladesh wages. I make $280 a week. And it's very hard at that job because they don't pay you timely. It sometimes takes 2 weeks to get paid $280. And if you got rent and your utility bills and your food bills, they're all expensive. Gasoline, I mean, I don't know. It is discouraging. I'm trying not to be because I don't want to discourage you guys. Because you guys are beautiful people. You guys have your freedom, pretty much. But one thing, as I talk to all of you, is that I hope you don't experience this when you're turned age 60 or 70. I'm 75 right now. I'm young. I want to work, but they won't hire you. Why? Because you're involved in CPS. Why? Because you're too old. Why? Because you're too skilled. You're too experienced. We can't afford to pay you. Now, I could do a lot in any job because my background is so different than most. I've trained killer whales. I've worked as an ocean lifeguard. I've been a restaurant manager of the seafood restaurant called the Chart House. I have been a school teacher, teaching high school biology, chemistry, advanced placement classes where you get college credit. I've taught at university, marine cetacean classes. I've been a marine scientist, marine biology scientist, high-tech scientist that went to sea. I was at sea for almost a couple years, and I'd come home, short visits. But I had a group of technicians that did environmental impact studies off the coast of California, from Point Conception all the way to the Mexican border. I'm a research diver. I have my private pilot license almost finished. And so I'm a jack of all trades, as they say. I mean, I can almost do anything. I can get into a corporation and fix it. I can be a CEO and fix things. I can make things better, and shoot. I'd love to be president and make straight our country is, but I'm too much like Donald Trump. I'm young, but we have a person named Poop Phenomenon. None. Okay. Ken here. Hi, Ken. How are you? My daughter's still on the run from her foster parents. I've not heard from her. The police have not talked to me either. Is that normal? Well, first of all, your daughter's on the run. She should have family members that she can keep in touch with. I'm so sorry to hear that, Ken. What state are you from, Ken? What state are you from? And we could try to help find your daughter. The social worker's not being very cooperative and giving me information. They don't want to. Live personally gone. I've gone personally gone and spoken to all my daughter's friends and her boyfriend's parents. The police have not, they're not here. Well, first of all, if someone is a missing person, you can report them to the police. I think if it's been more than 72 hours to report a missing person. So you need to have that put out. And you need to put pressure on the Child Protection Center. If you're from Placerville, California, I hope she's not trafficking or picked up in the sex trafficking trade. I hope, Ken, that's not the case. I hope not. Okay, I've gone over my podcast longer than I thought it would be. Anyway, I really appreciate talking to you guys. I want to help you. I want you to know that you can come here twice a day, and this is your home. You're part of my family, and I want to help you. And Ken is saying something more here. What's he saying from California? The social worker is not following protocol. That's true. Since when are the social workers doing anything right? When is it? But anyway, I have to sign off. I want to thank Ken from Placer, California. I want to thank, my curse is not going up there. I want to thank Tessa from Northern California. I want to thank Pixel Pixie from New Jersey, and Carlos from Ohio, and Hammer, who is Dave from Wyoming. I think I'm saying that right. Thank you all for calling in, and God bless you all, and I hope to hear from you tonight. I'm on again tonight at 7 p.m. West Coast time, that's Pacific Standard Time. God bless you all, and I want you not to give up. Do not give up with your quest to get your children back. They're precious. And follow my 5 rules. So I'll pray for you some more that you get your children back. There'll be a brief message from Vincent Davis. This is Bob Pace signing off.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.